This is going to be Rockit's week 1 lesson video. Rockit's doing a good job. If he looks a little bit wet, I'm pretty confident that he dumped out his water bowl in his kennel. But on the off chance that he drank all of his water and then had an accident, I did kind of hose off his feet just in case. I don't think it was pee. I think it was just water, but I like to be on the safe side. So he looks a little wet, but it's really hot out, so he really didn't mind the water hose at all. He kind of thought it was super fun, so I really like that. That being said, I'm a little bit of a mess today, but I wanted to get this video to you. Um, I just my dog has cancer and I think we're nearing the end. But anyways, so today though, I want to kind of go over all the things that we've been working on. Rocket really likes the nice cool floors in here because today's especially hot outside. We do some training outside, especially in the mornings, but by the mid-afternoon, right now it's like 3:15. It is pretty hot outside. I think it is 93. So we're going to train inside where we have the AC and it's nice and cool. All right. So this week we have covered heel, sit, and place. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to do a rundown showing you kind of start to finish how we taught each of those skills. Not saying that these skills are essentially finished, like he's done learning them, but they've been introduced. So the concept and the word, i.e., the word heel, the word sit, the word down, has been established for him at its basic level. So he understands when we say that word, essentially what it means. It's not 100% perfect yet. It's not 100% reliable yet. And that's why we still have more to do. But the first skill that we teach and the first skill that we work on here is healing. What heel is, and whenever we're teaching any skill, we want to think about the end first. So ideally, when my dog is heeling with me, heel means be next to me, walking at my side. Doesn't matter if you're on a leash, doesn't matter if you're off leash, but whatever you're doing, you're walking next to me on my left hand side. So a lot of people, when they want their dog to walk politely with them, they're saying, "Oh, I want my dog to, not pull on the leash. Don't get ahead of me. Don't switch from side to side. Don't bark at the other dogs. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't lunge. Don't whatever." And so instead of saying a whole bunch of don't do this, don't do that, we're just going to say when we ask for a heel, it means walk next to me, right? If he's next to me, he's not going to be able to have a tight leash. When he's walking next to me, he can't go and lunge at other dogs or people or eat off the ground or chase butterflies or any of that. So if we ask for a heel behavior, we're going to want him to be right here. Before we ever start to ask for a behavior, i.e., before we ever start to say the command, we always start by kind of showing him the behavior first. And then once he's doing it really well, then we start to tell him, hey, this behavior you're doing really well that you really enjoy, this is called heel. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get him up. The first thing we're going to do is make sure he's focused in, paying attention. And this is the first thing we did when he got here. We play a little game called the attention game. The attention game is a simple game where whenever he pays attention to me or moves towards me, I'm going to click with my clicker, and you're going to get a clicker to go home with as well. And I'm going to give him a piece of food. The important thing to pay attention to is that when you click, your hand with the food is stationary, or you click and then you reach for the food. But whatever your left hand is doing, it should be doing nothing at the moment of the click. So I'm going to get him up. When he looks at me, I'm going to click, and then I'm going to feed him. I'm probably going to have a little bit of food kind of ready to go. I'm going to keep my hand still, and then when I click, then I'm going to move it towards him. All right, so we're going to get his attention on me and feed. Super simple concept. Click and feed. This is a really simple thing to do at the beginning of any training session, just to make sure he's kind of dialed in, ready to start learning. Right? When we first came in here, he was just laying down, doing whatever. Now he's up, he's excited, he's engaged, he's following me around. Awesome. So when we're doing this, I'm not asking him for anything. I'm not giving him commands. I'm just kind of making myself a little bit more interesting, move around the room. Good. Just kind of getting him focused in. Making sure when I click, my hand is stationary and then my hand moves after I click. Okay. Now from here, what we're going to want to do is we're going to start to encourage him onto our left-hand side. I can use the food for that and have him chase that food. We call it a lure. I know, there's a couple special treats in there. So now I'm only going to click when he's on my left-hand side, walking in the same direction as me. Again, this is the heel position. If he gets a little bit distracted, I'm just going to make myself interesting enough to get him focused in back on me. Good job. But I haven't formally told him what he has to do yet. If I give him a command, the expectation is that he does that behavior. And if he fails to do that behavior, there's a negative consequence. So I don't want to quite do that yet. I just want to make sure he likes doing this game. He likes playing this game with me. He likes walking by my side because that's where I feed him. As long as he walks by my side, he gets all the cookies he wants. Good. And by cookies, I mean kibble. Good boy. So as long as he's staying by my side, I'm just going to keep clicking and feeding. I want him to know the longer he stays next to me, the more food he's going to get. And ideally, I want him looking up at me. So the moment he looks up at me, I'm going to go ahead and click and feed. It's okay if he's kind of looking at my hand, right? If he's looking at my hand, that's okay because essentially we're going to start to use what we call luring. Luring is where he follows my hand. So I can move him around by having him follow my hand. This is called a lure. So if he's staring at my hand during this exercise, that's totally okay, right? There's no requirement that he looks me in the face. And quite honestly, when we're out for a walk, it's kind of hard for my dog to look at me in the face without kind of being out in front of me where I don't want him to be. Good. So he's doing a really good job of just hanging out by my side. So I like how good this looks. And since we're not really aiming for a super flashy, super tight competition heel, I would say this is a suitable behavior for us to start to name it. So when we're ready to name this behavior, and this happens here over the course of many sessions, so we probably did at least 3 or 4 sessions before we ever said the name of the command. But once we did start to say the name of the command, all we did is right before we click, we say the name of the command. For this instance, it's going to be heel. So the name of the command is heel. Heel. So we're doing this pattern where it's heel, click, feed. Heel, click, feed. Heel, click, feed. Heel, oops, I clicked and heeled at the same time. Heel, click, and feed. Heel. What we're doing is we're establishing this pattern that when I say heel, the next thing that's going to happen is I'm going to click and I'm going to feed him in this position. Heel, heel. And we've been doing this for several sessions as well this week. Heel, heel. So he's doing a really good job of picking up on this pattern where I say heel, he's expecting to get food right here. So when we think about heel, when we think about our commands, we can think about them as just telling our dog that you're going to get rewarded, heel, but the actual command is telling them where they're going to get rewarded. So if I tell my dog heel, I'm telling my dog your reward is going to be right here. Heel. If I use the word crate or kennel, I'm telling my dog the reward is going to be in the kennel. If I use the word place, the reward's going to be on the place. Heel. If I use the word down, the reward is going to be down below his chin. Heel. But in any case, ideally, I want the word just to mean you're going to get rewarded, and this is where you're going to get rewarded. Heel. Good. Now, throughout this exercise, heel, the only thing I'm using the leash for right now is to make sure he's not getting food off the ground, heel, as best I can, and making sure he doesn't go running off into traffic. Heel. Obviously, we're inside, doors are closed, he can't really go anywhere anyways, but I still want to practice this on the leash. Heel. What I don't want to do is I don't want to use the leash to hold him next to me, or if he gets away from me, pull him back to me. He has to make that decision to stay in that position or to come into that position on his own. Heel. If we micromanage too much with the leash, then he's always going to depend on that leash. Heel. Ideally, I want to be able to tell my dog heel and have him know that this is where the food's going to be. Heel. I don't want to always have to have a leash to do that. I don't want to always have to have an e-collar to do that. Heel. But these tools will end up being there for the day when my dog decides, yeah, just because you asked me to heel doesn't mean I necessarily have to. Heel. Free. So, that being said, we do want to be able to teach our dog that this leash is there, again, for the day that you decide that you don't want to do the behavior on your own, and now we have to kind of help you do it. So the way we start to introduce this concept is with the sit behavior, right? Every dog comes in here knowing a little bit of how to sit, right? You get your puppy home, first day you get the puppy out in front of you and you go sit, the dog sits and you give them a cookie, right? Everything's wonderful. But not super practical. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to teach our dog to sit in the heel position. He has already started this. He's been doing a really good job with it. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to teach him to sit when he feels the leash pressure. So when we first start doing this, we teach him that when you feel the leash pressure, I want you to put your butt in the ground. Then after that is very consistent and he understands that, then we introduce the word. So the way we do this is our dog already loves to essentially be in this heel position. When he's here next to us, we stop moving, we pull gently up on the leash. The moment his butt hits the ground, the leash pressure turns off, I click and I feed. And then I say free. So the word free is going to be our release command, meaning it releases him from the behavior. So again, we're going to help him onto our side. We stop. We pull up on that leash. The moment he sits, the pressure goes off. We click, we reward while he's seated. Free. I'm going to do it again. Stop, pressure. He sits, pressure goes off. We click, and then we feed. When we're doing this, free, we're very careful to do each thing at its own time. So when we step forward, first thing that happens is we stop, then pressure, then release, click, and feed. Free. I'm going to do it this way. We stop, pressure, he sits, click, and feed. The reason we need to do that, free, is because he has to be given the opportunity to pick up on the pattern. But if everything just happens all at once, there's no opportunity for him to do that. Free. So we have to stop, pressure, release, feed. Free. Good. And I'm not pulling super hard. It's just for him to make the association. Free. Good. Free. Good. Free. It's just a form of communication. So we communicate with our dogs a lot of different ways. Free. One is through the words that come out of our mouth. Another is using things like a clicker or a whistle. Free. The other is tactile communication, which is something our dog can feel. Right here, he can feel the leash pressure. He understands that when he sits, that causes the pressure to stop. Free. So when he wants that pressure to go away, he puts his butt in the ground. It causes the pressure to go away, and then he gets rewarded. Free. 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 Now, normally, I don't do free, heel, and sit in the same lesson in the first week. Free. But it's for the purposes of this video that I want you to start to see what he is learning and how he is learning it. You'll be expected to do this as well once we do our lesson together. Free. Now, if you noticed, free, on that one, I kind of stepped forward. He got a little distracted and he stopped a little far back. And I wanted to wait until he was right next to me before I applied that leash pressure. Because as soon as he feels that leash pressure, I want him to sit no matter where he is. So if he's back here and I apply that leash pressure, he's going to sit back there. And I don't like that. So I want to make sure he's right next to me when I pull up on that leash. And that's going to help him sit in the correct place. Free. I'm also using the food to position his body before I apply the pressure. So again, we're using that food lure, right? Free. So he's following that food lure forward. I apply that pressure. He sits. He gets his food. Free. Good boy. Free. Whoops. If he gets out of position, I'm going to make sure I help him get back into position before I reward him. Free. But every click gets a reward. He definitely understands that the clicker means he's getting rewarded. So that means that there is absolutely no rush to get that food to him. Free. 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 So like I said, you're free. When we're doing sessions here, we're doing very short sessions, maybe 5-10 minutes tops, but we're doing lots of them. And we'll do lots of sessions of just healing with no stopping, no sitting, no nothing. And then we'll do lots of sessions of just sit. So like just the pattern you just saw where I was like essentially taking 1 to 2 steps, stop and sit and stop and sit and stop and sit. And I'll do that for an entire session. If I'm doing place, I'll do an entire session of just place. So whatever you're working on, especially in the very beginning, in the early stages, we want to have the dog focus on just that one skill and just focus on that one behavior. If we start mixing things up too fast, he's going to get confused. He's going to mix things up. We're going to ask for a heel. He's going to go into a sit, and things are just going to get complicated, right? So we just want to make things super simple, super repetitive, because that's how dogs learn best, is through repetition and pattern and routine, okay? So the last skill I want to kind of show you guys that he's been working on is called place. He's been doing really good with place. Every dog does. It's really simple. It's really easy. No, you can't eat off the floor. Good boy. So he really likes the place bed. When we first introduce the place bed, we just let him kind of go up there, let him explore it, put some food on it. We don't make it too structured in the very beginning. Free. I'm going to reposition this so you guys can see a little better. Okay. So when we're thinking about the place bed, we want to think about it kind of like the crate, right? The crate is a rectangle. It has 3 walls and 1 door. So the place is just like that. It has 3 walls and 1 door, and he should go on and off through that door. So the door is going to be on the side here closest to me. So he's going to walk up in through the door. I'm going to click. And then after I click, I put the food on the bed just inside the door. I'm going to tell him, free, and allow him to come off. Free! Puppy! Buggers! Okay, and we're going to do this again. He does not have to be in my heel position to do this. I just want him going up on the bed, getting rewarded, eating the food, and then free, puppy. Good job. Okay, we're going to walk over to the bed again. So this is essentially how we introduced it originally. Like I said, we've done this a whole bunch, so he knows this really well. Once he's going up there very enthusiastically, like you're seeing here, this is when we started to introduce the word. Again, the command. When the behavior is the way I like it, then we're going to start to use the command. We say, don't name it until you love it. So on the next repetition, I'm going to use the command right before he's going up there just because I know he's going to go up there. Okay? Free. Okay. I'm going to do it again. Place. Good. So my goal for these next few reps, I'm going to say the word right before that first paw touches the bed, and I'm going to click as soon as that last paw gets on the bed. Okay. Free. Place. Good boy. So I'm going to say it again when I know he's about to go on there, and I'm going to click as soon as he has all 4 paws on the bed, and I place the food just inside the door on the bed itself. When I'm ready for him to come off, I'm going to say free, and we're going to walk forward. He's going to come off the bed. Free. Good boy. Place. All right. So if you notice, I'm now standing on this side of the bed. So anytime I'm going to release my dog or reward my dog, after we kind of start to get into this pattern, this ability to kind of go up there and stay up there for a little bit, I want to do it from this position here. So I'm going to say, free! And I'm going to step forward with my left foot. Free! Good job. Place. And once he comes off the bed, he's technically in what we call a free, which means he's in no specific behavior. And so there's no requirement for him to be facing any certain direction. He can be on my left side, on my right side. It doesn't matter. Whatever makes it easiest for him to get back on the bed and for me to be in this position. From here, I'm going to say, free! And then we're going to walk forward with my left foot first. Awesome. So the reason why I try to walk forward with my left foot first is because ideally I use a little bit of an extra visual cue to help my dog know what he's expected to do. So when I say free, he can stay there if he wants to, but I kind of want him to come with me. Free! And so he can come with me if he wants. Good boy. The left foot is just a little place reminder that he is allowed to come off the bed. What we started to get into is asking him to stay on the bed. So all of our commands are what we call until told otherwise. So if I tell him place, which I've told him now, if he comes off the bed before I tell him to do something else, like free or heal or recall or anything else I ask him to do, he'll get a negative consequence, which would be a correction. So if he comes off the bed, I'm going to say the word no. I'm going to give him a leash pop. And then I'm going to remind him what he was supposed to do. So he's looking at the little treats that are around the bed. If he steps off, I'm going to say his correction word. No. Place. I mean, he got the treat. But it was a good opportunity for me to show you the correction. Right? Not really breaking his heart. And that's totally fine. But we're going to start to teach him to stay up there. So when we want to teach a stay behavior, we look for the 3 Ds, which are duration. How long can my dog stay on the bed? Distance, which is how far away can I be while my dog stays on the bed? And distraction. What types of distractions can my dog resist while he's on the bed? So, when we want to start with duration, I'm going to stay right next to my bed because we're not doing any distance yet. So I'm going to stay right with him. I'm going to remind him, place. I'm going to click. And I'm going to put the food on the bed just inside the door. Place. So it's place, click, feed. Place, feed. Always put the food in the same place. Place. And this is how we start to build duration. The longer he stays up there, the more food he gets. So he learns, hey, I'm going to stay up here for a longer time. I'm going to get more food. Place. So we're starting to teach him that hanging out up here on this bed is pretty awesome, right? But we want to start to move away from the bed. So like I said, when I use my left foot to go forward, that's letting my dog know either he can or he should go with me forward. So if I say a release word like free and I step with my left foot, it means he can come forward with me. If I say heel and go forward with my left foot, it means he has to go forward with me. But now I'm going to say place, and I'm going to start to use my right foot. So the right foot indicates that he's supposed to stay here. So does the word place. So if I say place, and then I move with my right foot first, those are two indications that he's supposed to stay on the bed. I can only reward him when I am standing here in his heel position by his side like this. I cannot reward him in the front. I cannot reward him while I'm away from him. I can't recall him off the bed and reward him. I can only reward him when I return to this position. So if I say place and I step with my right foot, I can't reward him like this. I have to come back here, click, and then feed. And what we're doing is we're actually starting to build up to stepping out in front of him. So I'm going to say place. I'm going to step a little bit further. Again, I have to come back to this position to reward. Place. And this is where I want to kind of have a good benchmark. I'm going to go back to his side and I'm going to reward. And like I said, all of the skills I'm showing you here in this video today happened over the course of several sessions. So maybe getting to this point with him took 2 or 3 sessions, and that's totally fine. When you go home and practice, there's no rush to start doing everything that you see in the video. Place. But what I want to start to do is get to this position, and then from here, I'm going to start to back away. And I'm not going to go very far, very fast. And when I want to go back to reward, I always come back to this position, square up, click, and then feed. Now, if you noticed, place. The first thing we did today was heel. The next thing we did was sit. And now we're doing place. And you're asking yourself, well, what about down? Down's really important, right? Well, we don't do down until after we do place. And this is why. Right now, not only is he getting rewarded for being on the place bed, but he's also getting rewarded for laying down. Place. So then when we are getting ready to do down, which will be the next skill, it's something he's been getting rewarded for the past several sessions. So it's been much easier for him to start the down behavior because it's going to be something that's familiar, something he's been doing a bunch, and plus he's going to be really good at down anyways because he loves to lay down on the floor. Place. So he's been up there for a while. Every time I tell him place and I take a few seconds to step away and then step back in, we've built our duration. We've built that distance where now I can step a few feet away and he stays on the bed. When we're ready to add in distractions, that's the most difficult part because there's no quantifiable metric. Place. I can quantify that he is going to stay up there for 10, 15, 30 seconds while I step away from him like this. I can quantify that I'm about 3 feet away from the bed, right? But there's no number I can apply to the level of distraction. But we're going to do our best to kind of keep track of how intense the distraction is. So I can say place. I'm going to step out in front of him. I always start here and then I back away. And then I start to maybe move around a little bit. Instead of just standing still out in front of him, I can walk back and forth. Just me talking while I narrate this video is also a little bit of a distraction. Sometimes I'll have people sing random songs or tell me what they had for breakfast this morning, or what's your favorite fruit, or what's your favorite animal besides dog, whatever. But just out here, kind of having some visual distraction, some type of movement, some type of noise. We can clap our hands, we can slap our legs, we can do a little bit of, beginner distractions. And you can see he got a little bit excited from all that. Not to mention, I was out there for quite a while compared to what I was doing previously, right? And what we're looking to do is gradually and systematically increase our duration, our distance, and our distraction. The best part about doing this first, one, it's very easy for him. And he doesn't have to stay in a specific position. He can stand up on the place bed, he can lay down, he can sit, he can turn around, he can roll over. There's no requirement that he's in any one specific position. So it's very easy for him to stay up there and stay comfortable while we introduce this picture of place, step in front, turn and face him, back away, and introduce that stay activity. The coolest part is we want to teach him a sit stay. We also want to teach him a down stay. So in this example right here, imagine he's in a down, but he's not on the bed. He's just in the down next to me, which is where we're going to teach him to do down next time. So instead of saying place, I'll say down, and he's in that down behavior. I step out in front of him while he's in that down behavior. I step away and he goes, hey, this looks really familiar. I feel like we've done this before. And it's because we have. And I come back to his side while he's in that down, and I come back to that heel position. I can click, and then I can feed him like I would for a down. But that'll be for the next video, but just a little look ahead of how this is important for the future of his training. Now, ultimately, we don't always have to turn and face him when we leave him, right? Eventually, we're going to be able to just kind of walk away. But when we first do this, when we've been teaching him, when we walk forward, you walk with us because we've been doing heel all week. It can get a little confusing. So this way, it's a really drastic, clear difference when I say place, and I kind of go with my body and go, hey, you wait here. I'm going to back away for him to be successful. With enough repetition, he's going to hear the word place and automatically know he has to stay there. And then we can kind of get into the habit of just walking away while he stays in that position. All right. So I know that was a ton of information. Feel free to go back and rewatch bits and pieces when you take this home, when he goes home at the end of next week, to practice with him. And I'll get you another video probably next week. And if you have any questions, call me, text me. But he's doing really good. He's a good boy. Wonderful temperament. Everything's great. So, all right. I will keep you posted and have fun. Train with your dog. Ready? Free! Good boy.